Alright, so you want to know how to learn Halo Wars 2 modding. Well, I made this video specifically for that. So, there is a few prerequisites that you need to do before you actually, watch this. Most notably being, you need to find this shortcut right here, which is basically your GTS folder. You're gonna make sure you find that. Obviously, you're not gonna see this. This is just for me. But you need to find this directory. I'll actually link it in the description or wherever I post this video. And yeah, paste that path in here and you should find this. Make sure to make a shortcut for it. It's really crucial and it helps with the modding process a lot. So now you're also going to need a dump. A dump folder, basically you have to dump the game. I'll make a video covering that soon, but I do have a tutorial also linked in the description made by JayTheBlaze. He's one of the old modders out there too. He's really good. I'll make sure to link him in the description. But yeah, that tutorial, it should walk you through the dump process. Once you're done with the dump, just you can move it wherever you want. I put my dump folder in my D drive. I did not mean to. Okay, I put my dump folder in my D drive, as you can see, and I just made a shortcut for it and I put it on my desktop. And that's really all you need to do. As long as you have that, these two, you should be fine. You're also gonna need these tools. So you're gonna need the Halo Wars 2 package tool. I'll also link that, and the PHX GUI, which is basically how you convert the code files into readable text. And how are you going to do that? You need a text editor. So for me, I use Sublime Text. I don't know, I think it's really good. It has a really good interface. Now obviously it won't look like mine. I have a custom theme for it, but like the already vanilla ones out there, like their themes are really good. I just recommend it. You can also use whatever you want. I know one of my friends, they use Visual Studio Code. If you use that also works. So yeah, so as long as you have your text editor, these tools, and you should be good to go. You're also gonna need one more tool. It's called Convert Evolved. Convert Evolved basically converts all those XMLs back into XMVs. So it's pretty much this tool. Cool modder made it a while back. It's really useful, and it just automates the process a lot more faster. And yeah, so without further ado, alright, let's start. So, how the heck do I mod the game? Well, it starts by creating a new folder. This is going to be the name of your mod. Personally, for this tutorial, I'm going to call it More Marines. Alright, I want this mod to have so much Marines at the starting squad, because why not? Alright, cool. So you're going to make your mod folder. This is your mod folder. This is where you can put everything in it. Now, as soon as you open this, you're going to want to make a new folder within this directory. You're going to want to call it data. Now, basically, you'll see later on in the video, but essentially you're trying to replicate what a patch looks like through the Halo Wars directories. So you're basically trying to mimic the directories, so that way it could override the files later on. I'll show you that in a second. But for now, just make a data folder. And a most common thing you use is a DB folder. So make sure to just make a DB folder. And inside this folder, you're gonna want to make a folder called lists. All this will be explained later on in the video. Trust me. Just trust the process. So once you make the lists, now you have your file directory. Cool. You have more Marines, data, DB, and lists. DB probably stands for database. But anyways, okay. So now you're going to want to find your dump file. So obviously, if you made a shortcut like me, I could just go to it right here. So this is all the game files. Note that you are going to need 50 gigabytes of storage for this bad boy, because it is the entire game just dumped, like everything. Like you can all see these files and stuff like that. But yeah, you're going to want one of these stuff. So now, once you go to data, there's going to be a tons of stuff. Now, notice what I said earlier, how we're trying to mimic what this is. You'll realize that if you go to DB, list, just like this, it's actually pretty much the same thing. It's the same file structure. We're just mimicking it. That way the game could read it once we make it into a package. I'll show later on. So, now, you won't see these XML files actually. You'll see a lot of .xmb files. I just have a lot of them extracted already, but For this tutorial, we're gonna focus on adding more Marines at start, because why not? So we're gonna look for leaders.xml. That is a very common uh, XML file you're gonna be editing later down the line. It just helps with the leaders and stuff like that. You know, you can change your starting squads if they fly in, if they don't fly in, their starting coordinates, stuff like that. So you won't have that. Okay. So you'll see this XMB file. You're gonna want to need that PHX tool. So actually, if you let me pull it up here. So the PHX GUI, you're gonna want to like install that tool. I linked it in the description or whatever this is. Just make sure you launch it as the GUI, and you'll get this pop up. Now you want to make sure that your game version is on Definitive Edition, and that's pretty much it. I mean, everything else should be fine. Just leave it as it is. So now you're gonna want to find your dump folder, right, with all this stuff. Now you're gonna need your PHX tool right beside it. Actually, let me just close the wish too. Okay, so leaders.xml. You're gonna want to drag this to the empty space right here in front of the tool. Refresh your browser or whatever your file explorer, and you'll see the XML converted out automatically, as long as you drop it in this slot. So now it's an editable XML. So now we could just open this in our text editor right here, which I use Sublime, but any text editor will do. Notepad++, all that stuff. So now we have this. What the heck am I looking at? Now, honestly, it takes a lot of practice to get used to how the code format of this game is, but once you get used to it, it's actually very easy to follow, and honestly, it's not that bad. So we're gonna be paying attention to Cutter, because you know what? I want Cutter to have so much Marines, because why not, right? So you could already see right here, this is a starting squad, and it's very, very easy to follow. I mean, yeah, you have your starting squad, you can change this to true or false, you know, Boolean values. You can also change your offset, stuff like that. And this is the starting squad that actually is. It's the UNSC, yeah, it's the Marine. So it spawns to on startup, but I want to change that. So I'm actually gonna copy and paste this line numerous times. I'm gonna do that. You know, let's give them like 10. So you know what? Do that. All right, that's 10 Marines, I believe so. Yeah. So that's cool. Now make sure to always save your file. You could either Control S or save, whatever. As long as it's saved. Okay, cool. Now there's another step. So now that you edited the leaders XML, realize how it's still in your dump. You're gonna want to cut and paste this in your new mod directory that you made earlier. So basically, there we go. It's like mimicking the file structure exactly. Now you have your XML. That's cool. Now there's more to it. Once you get the convert evolve tool, which I linked in the description, you're gonna want to change your data folder, because basically this tool it looks for a data folder. So you want to go to downloads or wherever your your stuff is. So I'm gonna go for my mod directory, more Marines, data, database. Well, no, never mind. Okay, we're gonna go to Marines right here, and this data folder, we're actually gonna click it and select the folder. Once you have that complete, as long as you have your data folder selected, you can press convert. Now, as you noticed, you'll see an XML.xmb. It converted perfectly, and that's pretty much what the process is in terms of editing XMLs. This works for everything. Like, I could pretty much just edit any single file as long as it matches the directory. So let me actually just close some stuff. Now, your thing will eventually get messy, but I don't know. It's just best. It's best to keep organized a little bit, but it is gonna be a little messy. So, all right. Well, we got that stuff already. So as you can see, all these files, they're gonna have a lot of XMBs, a lot of stuff. You could also explore that by your own self. Personally, I think the most valuable files to edit are all objects, all squads, leaders, the XML. You're also gonna want I don't know, I mean, like, there's text, you're gonna need that for sure, powers, all that stuff. But the most notable is going to be Thunderhead. And if you go up in here, actually, if you go to startup, you're also going to want a game.cfg file. Now, I've already linked 2 files specifically for this, which is also linked in the description. You're going to have a thunderhead.xml.xmb, and you're also going to have a .cfg file. Alright, so I will just cut to when I have it. Okay, so once you get these 2 files installed, I just put them onto my desktop just to show you guys. So once you get the thunderhead.xml.xmb, you're gonna want to cut and paste that into your mod directory. There's gonna be, wherever I can find it. Okay, more Marines, right? Whatever your mod is called. So your Thunderhead, it's gonna go in the lists. Once you paste that file in there, you're good to go. Basically, okay, let me just explain as we're doing this. So basically these files, they basically enable multiplayer for your mod. Because automatically if you just edit the data, it won't render like multiplayer servers. But thunderhead.xml works with the servers, as well as this game config file that I have supplied you. So you're going to want to make a new folder in data, I believe, yes. And you're going to want to make a startup folder. So just call it startup. And you're going to want to cut and paste your CFG file into that folder. So now, once you have that, you're basically set. Anything else you do, just make sure to mimic the file structure, mimic the XMLs, make sure to convert them to XMBs, all that jazz. You should be just fine. Now, we're almost done. So, now we're going to need a new tool, which is the package tool. You're going to want to install this and, okay, go ahead and have it on your directory. And once you open it up, you'll see this menu. So, what we're going to primarily focusing on is making our mod playable, right? It's going to be a patch. That's what it basically is. We're trying to mimic a game update. That way it doesn't take that much space. You don't have to install a dump folder, anything. This is also known as GTS modding. So anyways, once you do this, you're going to want to press build. Now you want to navigate to where your mod folder is. So notice how mine is more Marines. All right, I'll click that folder and I'm just going to press OK. So now it made a new package file, PKG file. This is the key to everything. Once you pack all your files into a package file, you should be good to go. Now I will note, if it goes over 2.1 thousand gigabytes, somewhere around there, I'll link it I'll put it on the screen right now. If it goes over that, it can no longer be accessible in terms of patching, as these are integer.32 files. Integer.32 numbers, and they do not stack over 2.1 gigabytes and stuff like that. So it won't render in Halo Wars 2. So that's just something to note. Just keep your files relatively small and you should be fine. So, alright. Let's say I have .pkg. Alright, that's cool. Now we're going to navigate to the website. So once you go to your browser, I'm going to put a link for this. This is a CRC-32 Calculator. Basically, this is going to make sure you have an ID for your mod and it'll be able to be loaded within the game. So we're going to find wherever our package folder was. So I'm just going to actually split the screen. So this is our package. We're going to want to click and drag it into the choose file. Now, as you can see, it creates all these numbers. We're going to focus on decimal. That's what we need. This value right here, we need that. So make sure to just have that on the side for now. Now you're also going to need a file manifest.xml, which I'll link in the description as well. I'll cut to when I have it on my desktop. Just make sure you install that. Alright, so once you get your file manifest, which I linked, it'll look like this. It's just an XML file. You don't need to convert it, don't worry. I will put it right next to my PKG. These are the most 2 important files of your life in terms of loading the mod into your game. This is the way. So once you open up this, you're gonna see all this funky numbers. Now all you really need to focus on is the CRC-32 line and these 2 lines right here. Now for me right now, and probably for you, I might format it later on, but basically you're gonna want to change these names to what your folder is called. So mine is more Marines, right? So I'm gonna make sure I change these to more Marines, both of these files. And then I'm gonna get my CRC-32 that I generated earlier. I'm gonna copy the decimal value and I'm gonna paste that in the place of CRC-32. Once that's done, I'm gonna Control S, save it, and you should be good to go. Once you've done that, you're basically set for modding. Now you need to make sure you have that shortcut which I mentioned earlier. This is basically the shortcut for all the Haloverse 2 stuff. It all goes into the GTS folder, your active folder. So once you get these two files that you've generated over the course of this tutorial, you're gonna want to copy. You're gonna want to so you'll see different files in this category. It will be like something like CU19, something like that. Just make sure to delete that. You don't need it. Don't worry. Those files are completely like they'll always update once you're done with whatever you're gonna mod. So I'm just gonna paste these files right in here, and now you could just load your changes as you launch Haloverse 2. So everything looks pretty much the same because all we really changed was the leaders, and most notably was Cutter. We gave him more Marines. So we're gonna test Cutter. It's gonna test our changes. Now, as long as you followed along closely along this tutorial, you should be good to go. If there's any trouble, make sure to shoot me a DM or anything. I could definitely help you there. So now we have Cutter, right? Alright, let's launch Cutter. Let's see if our change is loaded. Should have 10 Marine squads. Takes a while to load. And just like that, there you go. We modded Haloverse 2. You can see all 10 Marines bunched up. You could also choose your exploit
Marines ready to serve.
Spawn at a bunch like this.
Eyes on all units.
There you go. That's how you edit an XML, package it, load it into Haloverse 2, blah blah blah. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you need anything, just feel free to shoot me a DM. I could gladly help you if you're stuck on one of these parts. Other than that, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial and happy modding. See ya. I also want to mention that if you once you're done installing, like once you've done modding, and let's say you want to go back to your original game, all you need to do is just close Haloverse 2, and you basically just delete these files. Make sure you have them obviously somewhere else, because that's pretty much just deleting your life's work. But as long as you delete those, you should be good to go. It'll reinstall the patch of the vanilla files perfectly normal, and you should be able to play Haloverse 2 like nothing ever happened. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.